In this video, we're going to show how to write the systems of linear equations from a graph. This is the second one we're doing. This one's a little bit more interesting because this time, if you notice, I don't have a direct y-intercept here or here, which is good because then we have to figure out a way, how do we figure out to find the y-intercept without a line going through the actual point. And so you do notice there's a single point. The single point solution shows that there's an intersection. So you know those 2 points are what they have in common. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and try to put it in the y equals mx plus b form. The first thing we'll do is try to find our slope. So we want to find our slope, and then I'm going to use blue for one line, well, if I can get the blue to work, blue for one line and red for the other. Alright, so let's work on the blue line first. So the first thing is I'm going to enlarge this a little bit so you can see it. I want to try to find, and you can see clearly that it's not crossing the y-intercept exactly on a whole number. So we're going to find where it is, and it looks like it's crossing here on the x-axis, and we could say it's crossing here because we know it is. So we're going to find rise over run. That'll be our slope. So I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, so I went up 4, that's a positive 4. And I go to the left, which is going to be a negative 1, 2, 3, so it's a negative 3. So my slope for the blue line is a negative 4/3, and we're going to go ahead and write that down. So the slope for the blue line, we'll put slope, is a negative 4/3. Alright, so we need to find a point. We need to pick a point that will be okay. And I'm going to pick, I think I'm going to use where the two intersect. I think that'll be good because I think it'll work just as fine. So I'm going to pick this point right here where they intersect. And it looks like they intersect at 5, negative 4. So we're going to put 5, negative 4 as our point. So our point is positive 5, negative 4. Positive 5, negative 4. And we can use this for both of them since they intersect with them. And that's what I would use. Alright, so we know this is our x value and this is our y value. So we're going to say negative 4 equals, our slope is negative 4/3, and our x value is 5. And we know that's going to be our b. I'm going to change color so you can see a little better. So negative 4 equals, multiply straight across, looks like I get a negative 20/3 plus b. Alright, and now I need to move my 20 over. So I'm going to add 20/3 to both sides. Alright, now this is where it gets a little tricky because we have and I'm going to do this where we can see it, we have a negative 4 plus 20/3. And remember, we want a common denominator. So we're going to multiply, since this right here is a 3, we want to make that a 3. So to do that, we multiply the bottom and the top by 3. And when we do this, 3 times 4 will change into 12. So this is going to turn into 12. And the bottom is going to turn into 3 times 1 is 3. So we're going to turn this into 3. Now, remember this is a subtract, we're going to get 8/3. So my b value is going to equal 8/3. Alright, so if you think about it, 8/3 is really 2 2/3, and here's 1, here's 2, so it does look like that could work. So on my blue line, my equation is going to be, and we're going to go ahead and erase all this. my b is going to be 8/3. So my equation is y equals a negative 4/3 x plus 8/3. Alright, so now let's work on our red line. It was fun just for the blue. So now we're going to work on the red line. So this is our boxes in blue. This is our blue answer right there for our blue line. Alright, so let's do our red. Our red line. We're going to look for the slope. So here is our point right here. Enlarge a little bit. Looks like we can go right here, so we're going down 1, so rise would be -1, rise or run, and then over 1, 2 to the left, 2. So it's positive, looks like it's going to be a positive half slope. So on the red line, your slope is positive 1/2. And we're going to take the same point that we did on the other one. I think that'll work just as fine. So here we go. Y equals mx plus b. We're going to use the same slope, the same point we used before. So my y is -4 equals, my slope is 1/2, and it's 5. It's from x plus b. So -4, and it's going to be 5/2, which is 2.5, plus b. Subtract 5/2 from both sides. So it looks like b is going to equal, it looks like we got -4 minus 5/2, and we're going to put a 1 underneath this. And again, what do I multiply to 1 to make it a 2? So multiply 2 to that and 2 to that, and so it's going to equal -8/2. So this will change to -8/2. And a -8 and a -5 are going to make a -13/2. So here's our equation for our second graph. Now I'm going to go ahead and erase this part. And so it's going to be y equals 1/2 x minus 13/2, and that is going to be the equation for the second line. And like before, we could change these into standard form if we want to. If we did, we would multiply 3 to the top. And we can do that. Let's do that just for fun. So I'm going to take the 2. Alright, so here's the 2 answers that we got before. And we're going to change these into standard form. And the first thing I know is that they're both fractions. And I don't like fractions like everybody else. So I'm going to multiply everything by the common denominator. If you notice, this is a 3, this is a 3. So I'm going to multiply everything on this side by 3. Alright, so 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 4 is a -12/3. And -12/3 is really going to turn into -4. So this is going to be -4. -3 times 8 is 24/3, and 3 goes into 24 8 times. So really it's like the denominator, these cancel each other out, and you end up being what you have up there. Now we're not through. We got to add, we want the standard form, so we're going to put the x's and y's together on the same side of the equal sign. So when we do this, we get 4x plus 3y equals 8. Let's do this one. They're both, the common denominator is 2, so multiply 2 here. 2 to half, and 2 to the 13. Again, this is going to turn into 2y equals this 2 times 1, which is 2 over 2, which is going to turn into 1x, and I'm just going to put a 1 here just for the heck of it. And then minus 26 over 2, and if you divide 2 into 26, you're going to get 13. So we're going to say that's 13. So we really have 2y equals x minus 13. Subtract x to both sides, and we're going to get negative x plus 2y equals 13. Remember, we can't have a negative, so we're going to flip all the signs. And so here's our systems of equations for these two. Remember, we could have used the slope-intercept form as well. Those look good when we do them. We could have used the slope-intercept form as well, and it would have been just fine. This just gives you a clear picture of the different ways it could look. So this one is standpoint.